So welcome. Is everybody in? If you can find a chair, please sit down.
We get a couple standing chairs.
We need more chairs. We can get some. So we look at we have at least another two more chairs. We're working on a new building in the next little while here. There'll be a skyscraper in the middle of the with pivots all around. Lots of good grass. Okay, I think, is this everybody? We have everybody here now? Okay. Okay, isto na ko kia kayam sinima. Git ko na itima timpuan ka iskanatun. Ano, idata ti stakyo pia kanya. Tiktaksi takspinaki git kutu tukso. Kama choki ako tekis ka ka pats ni ko ano idata ti stakyo pia. Idawat tatsu. Takin gakin na kitsi kopinna. Did anybody understand? The reason I like to do introductions in our language, it's always our grandfathers and our grandmothers and our elders in the community, they always encourage us whenever we're in public and speaking to people that we always use our language first. So that people will know that it's not a dead language, it's still there. We have we have young people that maybe don't speak it, but we're really working hard to ensure that our language is still strong. And of course, we are Canada's largest Indian reserve, and we have to date roughly around 14,000 members of the Black tribe. So we're in my language, I welcomed all of you to Kainai, which is the proper word for the Black tribe. It's Kainai. There's different stories of how that came to be, but the most common one is that it means many chiefs. So I am the current elected chief of the Black tribe. I just started our term with my council here. We've only been on the job for about 5 or 6 months or something like that. So I have some of my council here, and I will do a round of introductions. But yes, we just wanted to welcome all of you. We're honored to have all of you here to come and visit us here at BTAP. We're quite proud of this operation. And we're going to get into, I've got Kirby here and then Levi here is our general manager. They're getting into the details and some of our staff also. So you'll learn a lot about that. If you haven't visited before, you'll learn a lot about the history and where we are today and where we want to be moving forward. So we've got very talented people from our community that oversee the operations here, and they'll be giving you a little presentation here. And we're open to Levi, if that's okay, if there's any questions, I can move along. So we have an agenda here we're going to follow. And as usual, when you're in Blackfoot territory, Kainai territory, we still have a very, very strong our ways, we call it our ways. Our way of life stems from our ceremonies. And just last night, I was up till 12:30 at a ceremony. So a lot of smoke, and I'm a little fuzzy right now, but I got up early. I was looking forward to today's event. So we always start everything with a prayer. And especially when we have visitors like yourselves to come and visit us here, we like to share a little bit of our culture. And I'll talk a little bit more about it after. But we always start with a prayer. And the first thing we always ask, I'll excuse the ladies for now, you can come in, but just shut the door. So there are protocols for everything, okay? So if you need the bathroom, you have to give me a gift. But one of the number one protocols is whenever we pray, we sit. We sit down, we don't stand. But it's okay, we have staff. So I will do the prayer in our language, of course. Ayo napi. Oh yeah. You always got to give tobacco. So I don't buy cigarettes anymore, I just pray. Ayo napi na dupes. Ayo kukumikis. Ayo pisoati o pakchi pisoati. Ayo chakumito. Ayo kimma to kinana ka ken ka ki kiskanatu ni ka ki. Matsokia ka ki tu tu so ya ka kya ka passat ma ka kanu ka ki. Kanya ka kamu chichi staksinya ka ki. O kidaka petsni kon nana ka ki. Nokanista wat to pinnana ka ki. O kikimma tu sawa ka dakskuya puchsi siya ka ki nokanista kanista. O kissochika ka ki akma pokita pokukaku tekiman nana ka ki. O kichikitsamatsaman nana ka ki tutoksya ka ki. O kidaka kunau ka manista moya ka kanika ki kunasuka ki kunanstoa ki. Kutaya ka kanika ki sabi bata pis. O kikimma to kinana ni nokanista pa o kumanstu panakiskanat. O kinapyo siniki kamotanika kistawatsi han. So if you take your right hand, put it on your chest and say, hey. That's acknowledging the individual that did the prayer, that you've accepted this prayer. Okay? And you take your left hand and reach for your wallet and do that. That's an old elder's trick. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. As I mentioned, we do have an agenda here that we're going to do our best to follow here. We have lots planned for you today, so we're going to try and stay on schedule here. We also have lunch for you. They call it traditional food, but we'll see what it is. Real traditional food is tripe. Have you ever had tripe? Okay, so I've done the prayer. So I'm going to do, maybe we just... we'll do our exchange of gifts, and Montana, if you can come and assist me, please. I don't want to give the wrong gift to the wrong person. So obviously we have some gifts for you. And another part of our protocol, remember we have guests. We always share a little bit of our culture, a little bit of our resources that are out there. And I'm going to assume, what did you get for them?
Lanyards and earrings and a backpack.
So, who's the first one?
Doesn't matter. Maybe this Keva, eh?
Keva?
Yeah.
All right, so the first person I want to call up, in no particular order, they're all important people, but we wanted to share a gift with a couple of you here. Keva, you wouldn't mind coming up? Mckennirey?
Yes.
There's Keva, come on up. Go ahead.
I also have some people to share back. So.
Okay, sure. All right, so me first. It's going to be a surprise. So both of them?
Yeah, they're the same.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Christmas time.
So this is local from the Ottawa area.
From the Ottawa area.
Travis, and
thank you.
They wish to share.
Is it an iPad?
I post a regional Ottawa region within about an hour and a half. So
So these are for everybody else. Right on.
For our companions here today.
Awesome. Okay. So this is for everybody?
This is for from
Show that.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe we'll show her the gift there.
So Montana Shade Young Pine is our office manager.
You want to explain?
Yeah, so this is a beaded lanyard, just like the one I'm wearing here. You can put your keys or your name tag. And we got some earrings, shell earrings to match. Both made by a local artist.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
They're not from China.
And then this is for...
It's for yourself.
Oh, this as well?
Yeah, it's
okay.
a BTAP tumbler. The travel coffee.
We like our whiskey here. Just kidding. Nice.
Very nice.
There you
Very
go.
nice. Thank you so
Tim
much.
Hortons. There you go. Thank you for the. We'll share this with everybody.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Keva.
Here as well.
Oh, thank you. Next, I'd like to call up is Elena Panichi. Is that close? Come on up. I'm going to re-gift. Another old Indian trick. So you saw the lanyard. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is this again?
Thank you. It's a coffee mug.
Oh, you got a mug too. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So a lanyard as well and the earrings.
Yeah. Thank
There's a gifts from our side. So this is I know that the tradition was to bring tobacco, so these are handmade cigars from Italy, from Tuscany. So the top quality that are traditional there. So I hope you appreciate.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and this is another gift from
A watch
yeah.
in a chocolate box. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then we have some bags for you and your staff. So I don't know if
Bring them up here.
if you want to.
And we'll hand those out maybe during lunch and that.
Right. Whatever I like to, yeah. So some
Thank you.
advice from
Thank
my side.
you.
Thanks, sir.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Should I open here or? It's up to
It's up to you. Go ahead and open it.
I open
You're, like I said, you're not from China, so you're not identical. So look at yours.
Lovely.
Yours is right.
Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, very
Awesome.
nice. Thank you very
You got
much.
the earrings too?
Yeah, thanks a lot. That's really beautiful.
Those are for your husband, actually.
Great, thanks a million.
Awesome. And of course, the mug
Good
too.
night. Thank you.
Okay, the program says lunch. Is that what we're going to do now? Okay, we are scheduled to go over to the processing plant at 1:30, so we'll see what we can do in 10 minutes here. But we do have a lot that we would like to share with you here before we go to the processing plant. I don't know how much you know about the blood trial, so I'll do a little bit of a history, and then I'm going to call on our chair to give you the history of BTAP itself. And we're also going to bring in our key people, the ones who are actually doing the work out there on a day-to-day basis, and we'll have a video presentation for that also. Okay, so first, I guess we'll just do a real quick round of introductions. We'll start from here, we'll work our way all the way around, then we'll take the table this way too. So if you want to start, please stand. Who you represent?
I represent canola farmers. I'm a director with Alberta Canola and also the Canadian Canola Growers Association. My name is Christine P. and I'm a farmer from southern Alberta, just a little bit southeast of Lethbridge.
Hello, thank you for having me for the lunch. My name is Rodrigo Schmidt. I work for FIFAC. FIFAC represents the feed producers in Europe, and then trade and market policy.
Hello everyone, thanks for having us. My name is Abdullah Keenan. I'm with the Ag Department, Agriculture and Food Canada. Thank you for the invite.
Kimberly Cornish, I'm Executive Director of Food Water Wellness Foundation and the Project Manager and Co-Lead on the Regenerative Alberta.
My name is Karen Schmidt. I am the lead in beef production and extension with other beef producers who represents the beef producers in the province. And I'm also a co-lead for the Alberta Agri-Systems Living Lab, and I need to learn how to make proper fried bread.
Hey.
Hi, my name is Councillor Boyd. I represent the Dutch Tea Association.
Hello, I'm Courtney Stange. I work with Viterra, which is a local agriculture company, and I'm here on behalf of our membership in FEDIO, which represents linseed processors.
Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth. I'm from Sweden and I'm the Vice President of the Council of European Young Farmers. We're representing 22 countries and 33 member organizations. So I'm representing 2 million European young farmers. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Tim Muller. I work with Agriculture Canada in the International Affairs branch. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Hello, thank you very much for having us. My name is Janelle Whiteley. I'm with Pulse Canada, so we're the National Association of Pulse Farmers, Processors, and Exporters. So peas, chickpeas, fava beans, and lentils. And I'm from Winnipeg, which is the opposite side of the prairies. So I'm the complete opposite.
You're the low level.
Yes.
We're the high
down.
Hello, my name is David Kenny. I'm from Teagasc in Ireland. So that's the National Authority for Agriculture and Food Research and Extension. So thanks very much. Very happy to be here.
Hello, I'm Guy van der Poel. I came from Belgium. I am a member of the board of the Boerenbond, the greatest Belgian farmers organization, which is a member of COPA, the European Farmers Organization.
Hello, my name is Silvana Lutjets. I'm from Germany. I'm here as a member of a coordination team of the Agri-Ecology Partnership, which is European research and innovation in rural sustainable agriculture.
Hello, I'm Paweł Bienkowski, International Relations Officer at the European Commission, Department for Agriculture, and I'm Polish.
Hello, my name is Magdalena. I'm Polish too, and I'm based in Ottawa. I work for the European Union Delegation to Canada.
Hello, my name is Ruby Suta. I'm from Germany, and I'm also working in the coordination team of the Agri-Ecology Partnership.
Hello, Justin Ferguson, Vice President with Indigenous Capital. We are proud to be partnered with the Blood Tribe on Kainai Forage, and we will look forward to showing our video and then having you tour the Kainai Forage plant so you can see what the nation has built there.
I am Ludovic Cheblin. I am a dairy farmer from Normandy in France, and I represent all the dairy farmers in Europe, COPA. I am a vice president of COPA. Thank you for your welcome.
My name is Pedro Cordero. I'm from Spain. I'm the president of the European Feed Association of Manufacturers of Compost feed and premix, and also part of the, I forgot to say, together with our Canadian association feed, the AAFC, that's the Global Association of Feed Manufacturers. Thank you for your hospitality.
Hi, I'm François Cattier. I was born at the foothill of the Appalachian region, the home of the Wabanaki people in Quebec, and I'm with Agriculture and Food Canada. I'm responsible for our national network of 14 living labs, and thank you for welcoming us on your land today and for participating in the agri-system living lab as well. So thanks for having us.
Well, no, we'll go around. Oh, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kirby Manyfingers. I'm a member of council, and I'm also a member of the BTAP board. So I'll be sharing some stuff with you this afternoon.
Keva Mckennirey DG AGRI Little Bear, Blood Tribe Council member. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to Blood Tribe territory.
Okay, we're still on a go-go-go-go-go-go. My English name is Kyle Crow. I'm on council and a former BTAP member. Welcome.
I'm Giulia Campodonico. I'm from Italy, and I work in the ENO, the European Network of Living Labs, and despite its name, it's an international association of 175 living labs all across 5 continents. And I'm here also to represent the Soil project, an initiative to support 100 soil health living labs that the European Commission is setting up under the Mission Soil Initiative. Thank you for having us.
Hello, my name is Betty Lee and I work for the European Commission for DG Agriculture. I'm Irish.
Okay, and still Binaquian, Blood Tribe Council. I also sit on the BTAP board and Forage. Well, appointments to different portfolios. And mine's focused more on economic development, business, that type of thing. So yeah, welcome all, and I'm glad you're here, and I really look forward to showing you guys what we've built here.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for hosting us on your land. And my name is Elena Panichi, and I'm the head of unit of the agricultural relation with the American continent for the European Commission
Directorate General of Agriculture.
And Keva Mckennirey. I just want to say that I'm from Ottawa, from Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, working director of a team that works with trade of the EU. We're really privileged to and pleased to spend 2 days here on the traditional territory of the Kainai Nation. And certainly it's an honor to be here today. We're very grateful for this and for the lunch, so thank you very much.
I'm an agricultural engineer and I've been an irrigation advisor for BTAP as they need me since the late 1980s. So Levi needs to pick an old man's brain.
Okay, so everybody, welcome to Canada's largest irrigation project. And I believe we're fast approaching the largest Timothy forage exporter in North America, correct? So the nation is doing well. You'll hear a little bit more about what we do. We've got our young technicians here that'll fill you in, but welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Levi. Speaking of young technicians, we'll start over here. Just guys, just introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'm Mark from the State and Chief, the O&M manager here at BTAP.
Hey everyone, brief introduction earlier, but welcome. Really grateful for Canada recognizing BTAP and allowing us to showcase our organization today. It's very much appreciated. It shows that our organization is reaching beyond Canada, which is awesome. And yeah, I'm Hannah Shade. I'm the acting office manager. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Debbie, Day Chief. I'm a Blood Tribe member, a purchasing agent. We developed a job for our irrigation project and yeah.
Okay, my name is Crystal Oka. I'm the receptionist for BTAP.
Hey, they're the backbone of the operation. There's more that you'll be meeting later on, both here and at the forage plant. So let's get right down to it. Oh, Stacy. I'm sorry. She must be standing.
My name is Stacy. I am her Chief Council Administrative Assistant.
Oh, gee, thank you. Thank you, Peanut Butter. I was be in trouble, right? The sons are checks. Anyways, once again, welcome. So we're gonna, I'm gonna be short here now because I really want to get Kirby and Levi's crew here so we can really get into the whole operation of it. But I think it's always important that you understand who we are as people, as the Blood Tribe, the Kainai Nation. As mentioned, we're Canada's largest Indian reserve, and as you just heard, we're going to be one of the largest producers of Timothy hay internationally. And we'll get into all those details. But what I wanted to do was just to share a little bit of the culture and where we are. And I mentioned earlier our way of life. That's basically what it is. Out of all the, there's 4 Blackfoot Confederacy tribes. We are the largest. I think I mentioned it was about 14,000 members. Just to the west of us is Pincher Creek. That's the Piikani, the Piikani Nation. They're roughly around 6,000, 7,000 people now. And then up in Calgary, just east of there, about an hour or so, you'll have the Blackfoot Nation. And they're getting up there. They're probably about 12,000 or something like that. And down in the United States, we have Amskati Piikani. So Piikani. They're one. But they got caught across the line. So their reserve is in the state of Montana. So we are the Blackfoot Confederacy. And we're independent. We do our own things and as far as development. But the one thing that really brings us together is the culture. And this ceremonies. As I mentioned, I was just at a ceremony last night, and we call this traditional food. So if we went to a ceremony, we always eat first. Before we do any business, we eat. We always feed anybody visitors. This is our custom. So at the ceremony, it's the same way too. We pray, we eat, then we get down to business. So the ceremony can go there's no time restrictions. You know, it was done at 12:30. I got home about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was there from 12 o'clock. So, you know, we sit all day. So, one of our elders, Wilton Goodstriker, always likes to say, I always hear him say that the Blood tribe is the only tribe in Western Canada, if not in Canada, or not in North America, who still has a, what's the word he likes to use? Complement, I guess, of societies. That's what drives our nation. Before contact, we ruled this part of the world. The Blackfoot Confederacy tribes ruled this part. This was our land. This was our country. It still is. We kind of got chopped down. But we still maintain that, our ceremonies. We're one of the very few tribes in North America who still conducts ceremonies that date back literally thousands of years. So the knowledge is passed down to generations of generations, and the ceremonies and everything. So coming up fairly quickly here, you guys had berry soup. That's what we wait for. Once those are ripe, it's a signal to have one of our big gatherings, which is Akukatsi. People call it Sundance, but I don't like calling it. You call it what it is. I learned your language, so you learn my language. It's Akukats. So that's who we are. I always like to say that is the true definition of who we are as people. And if you ever have the opportunity to come down as a visitor and witness it, you will see those societies do their annual ceremonies. And it's quite, you know, I was a part of it. Most of us here actually on council are a part of it in one way or another. So that's what that's where the strength comes from. It's from our ancestors, what they taught us, hard work, due diligence, you know, just get the job done. I come from I grew up around very, very strong men. A lot of them didn't have an education. They couldn't read or write, but they ran successful farming operations, ranch operations. Some even ventured into other businesses. And they did it because they just had the will to do it. And I think when Kirby comes up, he's going to mention some of those individuals. We have a plaque over there honoring some of them. And others who really, really contributed to BTAP and where we started and where we are today. In any organization, in any business, you know, there's ups and downs, but we've always endured and we always overcame those. And I'm really excited about the future, where we're heading now. And I'm glad you're all here to hear it firsthand from us. And we're really welcome the opportunity to showcase what BTAP Ohki is. So Ohki is the Blackfoot word for water. So in all of our ceremonies, water is one of the most important elements. Everything. In our sweats, obviously, we pour. And in the sweat, when it gets really hot, we're all just about crying in there. The elder will say, no, you don't drink first. Tsakumi tapi. Mother Earth, well, people call it Mother Earth. I like Mother Earth. Tsakumi tapi is the wood, the ground, where we all come from. All of us, no matter who you are. He gets to drink first, or she, whoever it is. So we always offer the water in the sweat to Mother Earth first. Once she's taken care of, then we can drink. So water is very, very, very important in our ceremonies. So that's just a little bit of it. I just wanted to share that with you because that, for me personally, I think that's where the strength comes from. It literally is life-changing when you get involved in that. You can hear a lot of personal testimony to some of our young people and other people who have been involved in that. It's kind of a way to, you change your direction and you start a new path in life from that. So everything that you did in the past is forgotten. We don't even look back. Literally don't even look back. We only look forward. So that whole our lifestyle and who we are as people. I think that's what really drives our young people today. We have excellent technicians, and we have lawyers, we have doctors, you name it, we got them all from the Blood Tribe. We always lead. In the past and even today, other tribes throughout Canada and even in the US, they always wait for Ghana. They wait for what Ghana is going to do before they make a decision. And it goes back to the times before colonization and all of that came into part. They all work together. So for me, prayer, we pray every day. We pray only for good. And through the prayers, gives us a strength. So I shared a prayer with you guys this morning, and I was honored to do that. Normally, we like to bring some of our older elders and grandmothers and grandpas to do that. But I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's something that is unique, the same way BTAP is unique in how far we've come. And you're going to hear from it firsthand from our gentleman here. But for me personally, and some of those individuals that were here at the beginning, I knew them, I learned under them, and I got my work ethic from those people. So I owe a lot to them, and this organization owes a lot to them too. So with that, I'm going to ask Kirby as our chair to take it from here.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Blood Tribe. Like as Travis mentioned, we've come a long way. So there's a really good history to this place, both good and bad. Like as Travis mentioned, the Blackfoot Confederacy, we had a huge presence. Matter of fact, we didn't have first contact till 1840 because people expanding westward went around us, because we had this reputation. So we didn't have first contact until about 1840, and we subsequently signed a treaty in 1877. May Treaty. In 1877, Canada became a Confederate country in 1867. So at the time, all First Nations economy were decimated because the buffalo was wiped out. So that was a real bad part of our history. So at the signing of treaty, the chief at the time, Miguel, so Red Crow, he had some foresight, and so we made a very successful transition, from the buffalo economy into the agricultural economy, and after Red Crow passed in 1900, the subsequent chief, Cropbeard Wolf, was really, really critical in us maintaining everything that we have. The turn of the century, a lot of First Nations, were severely impacted. Religion was banned. We were luckily, we were able to survive that period because of Cropbeard Wolf. So we still have our ongoing Sundance, our various sacred societies, which Chief Travis was a previous leader of the Horton Society. So we've been fortunate. We've maintained all of those sacred societies and the traditional practices, from way back, where a lot of our neighboring First Nations lost it at that critical time. The other thing that happened at the turn of the century is, there was mass land surrenders. Indian lands were the easiest to target and take away. So, but again, we were fortunate. We had a strong-willed chief that held the line. So we were fortunate. We avoided all of those mass surrenders. So we've been able to maintain our economic base. We didn't lose an acre of land to a voluntary surrender. So that makes us a little bit different. However, we did do that successful transition, and because that, we were successful farmers, ranchers, we were outproducing the settlers that had just come into this area. Unfortunately, like the religious stuff, our economy was attacked. It was illegal for mechanized farming, and So this advantage that we had, you know, we eventually lost control of these lands to, because of Canada, you know, taking the approach that they did. So we fast forward and then Cropper's Wolf's son, Shot Both Sides, became the chief from 1913 to about almost 1950. He had a 40-year reign. During that time, and we'll hear from Len, Alberta's kind of the epicenter of irrigation in all of Canada. I think there's 70% of irrigation in Canada is in this immediate area in southern Alberta. You know, there's a big Mormon influence in southern Alberta. Wherever there's Mormons, there's irrigation. So as a result, there's been major development in southern Alberta. In 1940, we were approached, our Shot Both Sides was approached, you know, with all the irrigation development that was happening. You know, if we would, you know, they asked for a surrender, we said no, so there was an expropriation where they took the land. So we lost about 4,000 acres where the St. Mary's Dam now exists. And at that time, they built the second dam, the Waterton Dam, which would be about half hour west of here. So they built these two dams, and you know, for all this major irrigation development, that became the St. Mary's Irrigation District, and that district services about 600,000 acres in southern Alberta, right from here all the way almost to the Saskatchewan border, Medicine Hat area. So there's about 500,000 acres, 600,000 acres of irrigation development that happened because of our cooperation. Shot Both Sides had the foresight to say, if we're going to do this, you know, it's going to be in exchange for some future irrigation development, you know, down the road. So he had that foresight, and that was the deal, that the arrangement that was made. Subsequently, these two dams were built. They built a diversion canal that connects Waterton to St. Mary's, and it runs through the middle of the reserve. I think we gave up 1,100 acres, an additional 4,000 for the dam. So that was our contribution to irrigation development in southern Alberta. So that went along smoothly. Unfortunately, Canada forgot about their promises and obligations, and you know, unfortunately, that was kind of common practice back then. So in Canada, there's a division of powers. You know, there's a federal powers are listed in 91, and Indian lands are included as a federal authority. We signed our treaty with the federal government. So we have this special relationship with the feds, and that's who this land transaction was done with. So we gave up this. But in the meantime, in 1972, Canada transferred all of its irrigation assets from the federal government to the provincial government. Well, it was an illegal transaction. When you do this, it's for one specific purpose only. Unfortunately, they forgot about the obligations that were made in the 40s and 50s. So now we had a big stick. We said, in theory, we could have shut the taps off to 500,000 acres of irrigation in southern Alberta. Of course, we didn't take that approach. Said, let's sit down and negotiate this and sort of take whatever corrective measures that we need to take to fix this, to get the transaction, this land transaction done properly. So that's what we did. So then the next chief comes along, Chief Mckennirey, who and Travis is Chief Roy's successor, and Chief Mckennirey was a young man. So him, Chief Jim Shot Both Sides, Chief Roy, and his brother Bernard, who is our Director of Economic Development at the time, and then the other guy is Del McCloy. Del was a real critical guy in the process. So they went back and they said, look, we got to take corrective measures. So in 1989, we came up with a settlement agreement. It was a tri-party agreement. So we had a referendum, we fixed up the land transaction, the transition to Alberta happened successfully, and this was the compensation for that. It's, so the deal that was made was, was the development of BTAP. So our system has the capacity to irrigate 25,000 acres. The initial deal, we developed 19,000 acres. We built the whole thing ourselves, and so we became up. We started in 1990 and came on incrementally in 2,500 acre developments each year. So by 96, 97, this place was fully operational. So we were irrigating 19,000 acres. Just put that in context. Like Levi mentioned, like we're a huge operation. I think as far as being single irrigators at the time, we're the second largest in North America. Ironically, the only one bigger than us, and the biggest one in the world is the Navajo project. So we're the second largest in North America, fourth largest in the world. And I think the only one that's bigger than us, we're in the Middle East, and that may have changed. So we had this massive operation, and I think we came to the realization right off the bat that we couldn't, or we shouldn't be dealing with the local economy, with the world going global. So that was the plan, to be part of the global market, because we were such a huge operation. So that was always the plan. And I think Del, he was one of the founders of this organization. So we created a model that, so we weren't looking at farming directly, but more the value added stuff is where the real value is, not direct farming. So we started looking at, well, what can we do? In 97, we had a contingent go to Japan, and we found some partners, Transfeeders were their names, and so they were exporters of timothy to Japan, and there was a real niche market. So we got into that. So in 1997, we went on this little bit of a, I don't know, called a trade mission, but we finalized our arrangements with Sumitomo, which was a trading company. I think they're second largest in the world. And that was when we first made our connection, and we built sort of the first go-around with the forage plant, which you'll see this afternoon. But at the time, we were kind of niche players, and so I think our initial plant, we had the capacity to do 30,000 metric tons a year. But just in this area, we had our competition. So we were a small player in a big market. So anyways, that went along for some years. But then we'll get to the kind of the rebirth of the forage plant. So anyways, that's how things got started. I was fortunate. Few of us were fortunate to be to be part of BTAP right from the very beginning. Somewhere along the way, we got away from our model, and we drifted off, and we didn't quite have the focus that we had. About 10 years ago, Levi was brought in. We made some really major changes here. And for the better. So we got the organization sort of back on its original models, mandates, and models, and so we're able to sort of get the organization back on the right track. At the time, as part of our recovery, we're looking at sort of the international market, what we need to do there. But in order to secure the capital that we need, Chief Mckennirey found some capital venturists, some business partners out of the States. And hence we entered into this arrangement where we're 50-50 owners of the operation next door. So and we'll be getting to that. So anyways, that's kind of how things progressed. So like I say, we transitioned ourselves from being like a niche player, 30,000 metric tons a year. Now that we have the capacity to do almost 120,000 metric tons, so we've we've increased our capacity. We've quadrupled our capacity, which brought us from a niche player to now we're the big boys on the block. We're the largest exporters in North America, and we've been fortunate. Your timing here is just great because as we all know, the world's changing with what's happening across the line, and we're part of the global economy. Fortunately, that's not our market. Our market is more international, so we focused in on the Japanese market. They're heavily subsidized. They have a internal food security policy. They're self-reliant in dairy and rice. So that became our niche market. Again, we went from the niche players, small little guys, to now we're the big players on the block. But like as we know, you diversify. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So we've managed to expand markets. So we're now in South Korea, flirting with China. The Middle East is a big market. All these other guys, it's the dairy. That's the industry. However, with our product, it's also the horse racing industry is our big market. So we do business with the UK. We don't do anything with EU, that's good you're here. But we do we do stuff with we will be. So the UK, but it's primarily for horse racing. The Middle East again, horse racing, and into the States. The Kentucky Derby winner 4 or 5 years ago was one of our clients. So the horse racing industry is our other, and now our guys will get into it. So we're expanding our markets. So now we're looking at pet food. So like everyone else, we're trying to diversify and find new trading partners. So again, this is very good timing. You're here, and I think I think the whole world's trying to do that now. So anyways, that's kind of how we've evolved. And again, we're really excited. And again, we're always looking for new trade partners. I know when we had our resurgence, we kind of invited Canada and Alberta back to the table. So this last few years, we've had some really good activity, cooperation. Everyone's reconnected, hence visits like this. I know Canada's invited us to some trade opportunities. So in the event, that's how we've evolved. This is where we're at right now. And again, we're always open for new business. So that being said, our board is a working board. We all have a certain expertise that we bring to the table. We've got Len here, who's our irrigation expert, who's been with us off and on from the very beginning. So and then we got the boys here from the plant. So we'll move on to that. So Len, if you don't mind, I'd like to. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do the video.
Yeah, and then Levi. I'll have you guys sort of take things over from here, and we'll.
Thank you.
Quick, we're just going to catch up a little bit on our time. So really all I want to stress is the overall vision, okay? So we have a hay vision that both organizations contribute to. Imagine 38,000 acres of land, 24,000 of which is irrigated. We have 143 center pivots and irrigating about 24,000 acres. So the idea here is we just finished an expansion So what we're doing is, our target is 100,000 metric tons annually to export. So I provide the contracting with the land, the water, the infrastructure, and asset maintenance. So target conservative 4 acres over 25,000, there's your 100,000. Our partners, they are expanding to harvest, store, and process and ship 100,000 metric tons. And that from 30,000 is no small feat. I think what I'm gonna do is, there's a lot being said. We kind of need to leave time for our partners, so I will really speed things up. I'm gonna hand it over to Len, and then after that, we'll go to Marvin. Marvin, we got a 3-minute video. You know, you'll see the whole scope of the irrigation project. He'll touch briefly on the apps. We are leading edge technology in the world, and proud to say 100% managed and operated this portion by our tribal members. So with that, I'll turn it over to Len.
Okay, thanks, Levi. I've been involved in irrigation in southern Alberta since 1970. So I've been an irrigation advisor to the tribe since we first started looking at developing BTAP. I don't have anything to do with how well this system is operated and maintained. That's Levi and the other tribe members. But I just wanted to put it in a little bit of perspective on a Canada-wide scale. In Canada, about 70% of the irrigation in Canada is southern Alberta. From here east to Medicine Hat, and from here north to Calgary and Brookston, the Trans-Canada Highway. Most of the irrigation in Alberta is done in irrigation districts. There's 11 irrigation districts in Alberta that total 1.7 million acres, or 680,000 hectares. I had to do the conversion for you. Of those 11 irrigation districts, BTAP is not an irrigation district. It accounts for about 10,000 hectares and would be larger than the 4 smallest irrigation districts in Alberta. So southern Alberta is the center of irrigation for Canada. BTAP plays far more than an insignificant part of that. As he mentioned, there's 143 pivots out here going round and round, and you picked a good time to come out here because you saw some of them. Like I said, I've just been an irrigation advisor. If they want some technical content as far as irrigation, I'm at the beck and call. But these guys look after operating and maintaining those 143 machines. And I guess we can turn it over to them.
I'm just going to show you an overview of our project here through the drone video here. So I'll just do a voiceover as we go through. So this is the start of our canal system here, where we order our water from Alberta Environment. So these are the head gates there off the main canal system. One of our drop structures, we have 9 of them on our south end of our canal system. They just change the elevations and slow the rate of the flow of water down. And yeah, on the Moat Pond Ridge, we have 21 kilometers of canal system we need to maintain.
That's looking north.
North, yeah. And as you can see, we're always maintaining the banks with fresh armor, getting rid of the vegetation, making it look nice and clean. Here's Moat Pond Ridge Reservoir. That actually holds 6,000 cubic meters. So as we have water coming in, we're ordering water from Alberta Environment, keeping it up at around 10 meters. And here's our header canal, so our head gates are just up there. That's where our water masters are controlling the flow of rain on our header side, as it is a closed canal system, so they're always maintaining, monitoring the system. This is our docking site, which is about 20 kilometers northeast. It's got its own pump station off in the river. It's got 18 pivots there. And then this is the headways here. So out here we have 125 pivots up on this side. Kainai Forage plant, the processing plant, which will be visiting here shortly. And then this is the West End Big Lease, which is just southwest of us here, about a kilometer. So 6 years ago, it was just non-irrigated land. In 2021, 21 pivots became operational and is now irrigated this whole southwest side.
That's the expansion. That's before and after.
Yeah, 21 pivots.
Put the canola picture in.
Awesome.
Marvin is going to do real brief. It takes a lot to kind of control everything. I've advised Marvin to just really go quick. So he'll explain how the farmer orders water and the whole process involved.
Yeah, and so we actually have our, as Levi stated, we use technology to our advantage here. So our work order system is through Zendesk. So as of right now, I had a grower submit a water order that's for June 4th, obviously, of what fields he wants, how much water he wants supplied. And so my water masters will get that, they'll do their calculations, and on June 4th, they will come into FieldNet here and start programming which pivots they have online. So those pivots they can actually program from their phone, from their computers, at how many rounds it's going to do, the depth applied, and then once they set that, they will become online like this. So blue means they're irrigating, gray means they're off, red means there's an issue with them there. So this is what we use to tie everything together to the FieldNet. And then so with those water orders, we'll get down into the canal system. So this is our actual canal system as it is right now. So like I said, we want to maintain that depth of 10 meters here at our canal reservoir. Right now we have 6.5 CMS coming in from Alberta Environment. We have 4.5 CMS coming out of our head gates here. And we have 4.1 CMS coming over our drop 3 structure. And at the end of our header canal, we're maintaining a level of 2.781 right now as we speak. So with that being a closed canal system, we're constantly monitoring, constantly using our phones. This is how BTAP operates. So with the cutting edge technologies, everything is done from our phone.
Something unique. For those, I don't know how familiar you are with irrigation, but you see this canal goes and doesn't show all of it here, but it stops.
Yeah.
One unique thing about this system, there's no wastewater goes back to the river.
No.
This is a level canal, and it's normally, they maintain the level there, and no drop is wasted, no water goes back to the river.
Okay, and people, so that's how our operation, by the way, that level's a little bit low. Tell your water master. Okay, so Chair, that is our presentation. We'll turn it over to Kainai Forage.
Okay, so let's yeah. Okay, Justin is just gonna set up here, so we'll move on to the forage fund.
I have a question because but before you said that you are dealing with an app and you are a world leader on that, did I get wrong or?
The app?
So, the apps are actually on our phones as well. So,
What app it is?
so we use Zendesk for our work order system, our ticketing system.
And this was
Yeah.
developed by you,
No, it's just we subscribe to these apps, yeah.
Yeah, and so we just use it to the technology here to our advantage. So this way, you know, instead of having guys on the ground maintaining these pivots, wandering here that way, it's all done through cellular.
Yeah, just real quick before we turn it over to Justin. So really, before I got here, there was trees in the canal and assets were being burned. So we did an analysis on the whole organization, dismantled some of the things, went back to the original business model. Original business model is just irrigation, powering the forage fund. You know, kudos to those who had that vision overall, but this just wasn't the avenue for that. So that's kind of how we got that fixed. So this sort of leads up to our partnership. Remember, we started this in '97. We just put it on steroids when we met with our partners. So, Justin.
Levi, just to clarify the software. So as you mentioned, there's a software package for how the water orders come in and how they, if there's a maintenance issue, how they handle it. So that's one set of software. Now, when they talk about FieldNet, that is something that center pivot manufacturers, they each offer. So on this project, the pivots are made by the Lindsay Corporation, Lindsay Zomatic. Lindsay Zomatic has a software package called FieldNet that you can use on your laptop or your phone. Valmont Industries, Valley Pivots, they would have a software package too. So those software packages to start and stop the pivots are usually developed by the company that sells those machines.
Got that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Justin. Our partners are Indigena. Justin's a vice president, so we'll turn it over to you and we'll focus in on the plant now.
Thank you, Kirby, Chief Levi, and the rest of council. So really quickly, Indigena Capital, we are proud partners with the Blood Tribe on Kainai Forage. That partnership began roughly in 2019 after we were invited by the nation to take a look at their operation and see if there was a better business model that could be implemented. Through that process, we developed with the nation there the model that is now being operated. What Indigena Capital does, we are the only, as far as we know, and I'm still waiting to be corrected on this, but the only capital partner that partners exclusively with Indigenous communities in Canada and tribal nations in the US to invest into nations' projects and empower it with capital and, where needed, business expertise. So when we look at Kainai Forage, it is the bringing together of Chief and Council's vision to empower their lands and their water to create what has now become one of the leading agricultural companies in Canada. Certainly, as was alluded to by Chief and Levi and Kirby and others, that one of the, if not largest producers and that now exporters of Timothy hay around the world. The market targets, as mentioned, so targets Japan, South Korea. The Kainai Forage is the largest exporter of Timothy hay to South Korea now. Dabbling with China, certainly have opportunity and partnerships into the Middle East and Ireland, and there is a ton of growth potential. But I'm the video narrated by Mckennirey, who was referenced, Chief Roy, will tell the story much better than I have, and it's narrated by Mckennirey and Clayton Blood, one of the
That's his
elders of the
picture
nation.
right up there. Handsome man.
Nixokwa, Kasamitaya, the Sopa, no Kidoxi. The Kainai Blood tribe have always existed on our lands. We were successful agriculturalists, even after the buffalo was nearly exterminated, and until the imposition of outside barriers. Since the construction of the St. Mary's Dam in the 50s and the BTAP developments, the tribe has been actively working to restore its rightful place in the agricultural value chain. Kainai has developed an enviable irrigation project with the infrastructure to support 25,000 acres and beyond.
In the late 1990s, we built the forage plant and have been producing and exporting forage from our lands to overseas markets, growing the business to almost 20,000 metric tons per year by 2018. Kainai Forage is a partnership with Indigenous Capital, which has seen investment of $40 million in growth capital, which is powering us to be North America's largest producer and exporter of premium Timothy hay. The investment has grown our capacity from 20,000 metric tons per year to almost 100,000 metric tons per year. As part of the expansion, we've added acreages into forage production, added significant new storage facilities, and a new processing plant. Kainai Forage works in partnership with area farmers chosen for their ability to expand in conjunction with our operations, and with the requirement that our farmers be best in class. Every bale on our project is inventoried and quality checked at harvest. It is then stored in our state-of-the-art sheds and graded for overseas export customers. We store the hay on site so that it can be delivered overseas all year. They rely on us to deliver it on time year-round. We compete with other parts of the world for each of our customers, making efficiency critical to our success. Our expansion creates not just jobs, but career opportunities for our people. Kainai Forage has gone from 10 to more than 75 staff since the start of our expansion. The positions we are creating are not just on the production floor, but in the logistics, quality control, accounting, and inventory management, all key to our success.
Our customers range from dairies in Japan to racehorses in the Middle East, shipping to Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and North America. We are poised to become Canada's, North America's largest exporter of Timothy hay.
Okay, guys, so I believe we're going next door to do the floor, so Marvin and the crew will be showing you as well as Justin. So maybe before we go, any quick questions before we head over next door?
Is it all container shipping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you truck it then to a container facility?
Yeah.
Or do you have any rail along?
Calgary to Vancouver by rail.
Yeah.
And well, even transportation, like we're looking at options, because like if we went through the States, it would be like a third of the cost. So there's different things to look at. But right now,
Yeah. And so all of it would be from truck from your facility first and then to rail?
Yeah.
It's trucked, so it's trucked. There's about 70 cans a week going out, which is an insane record, frankly. But there's about 70 cans a week going out from Kainai Forage, which we're going to see, to Calgary. From Calgary gets put on rail to Port of Vancouver, and then from Port of Vancouver out.
Kirby?
Well, and they're
So real quick, big picture. What we set out to do was sort of deal with the feast and famine of the forage industry in Alberta. Right now, imagine this, the logistics, right? You've got the water, you've got the land, you've got certainty with 10-year leases, you've got the processing facility there. So we're trying to affect not going out to try and do it, but that is the effect of the market. So we are instrumental in that.
Well, what makes us different from our competitors is we control our inventory, whereas the other guys have to buy.
Supply chain.
To the elements, whereas we control our entire inventory that feeds the plant. So that's a good advantage.
And we also have the manpower too, so you'll see at the plant that it's majority of our members operating on machinery in the plant, packaging, from packaging to shipping. So it's our people working in those plants.
90% of the 75 are Blood Tribe members. Yes.
So how many people work here?
Well, all total, it was seasonal, but
Yeah, I'd say about 100, yeah, just 20 here, 75, and then harvest, and then they call in people, right?
And then in addition, the farming partners of Kainai Forage have teams of significant number who I believe a number of those are Blood Tribe members as well.
How many cuts do you have per year?
2.
And how many dry matter yields?
2, and I believe they're in and around that 4 to 5 tons an acre, right?
Roughly.
In terms of yields, yeah.
Don't we get 3 cuts of
alfalfa?
2 cuts of Timothy a year. Last year there was 84,000 metric tons of exportable Timothy done off the lands. In addition, there was another roughly 10,000 metric tons of hay that was not to the quality of exportable, but still able to be used. And that is anticipated, anticipated to continue to rise this year.
What's the cost from the water per hectare? Do you know? Do you have a notion of that? How many costs the water when I'm a farmer and I will participate?
Yeah, so the way we have our rent, it's in 3 different portions. So we rent the dry land acreage, we rent water, and common costs, maintenance of the pivots. So rent is in and around that $230 an acre, all in. So.
Just maybe one thing I could comment on for those of you who may be familiar with irrigation in a lot of the US states. One huge advantage Alberta has compared to even Saskatchewan, but certainly compared to Nebraska and Texas, we get water delivered to us by gravity. And we pay the same for gravity that we did 100 years ago. Once it gets in the canal and goes down the canal, it goes into pipelines, and a lot of the pipelines continue to use gravity to get it to the close to the pivot points. And then we have pumps to pressurize the water. So we have to pay for the energy of those final pumps, but we don't have to pay anything to get water from the Waterton River to the Mckennirey Reservoir. And one little technical thing that I like to point out to show how cooperative the Blood Tribe was. Levi mentioned that St. Mary's Reservoir, as I guess Kirby did, and the canal service about 600,000 acres in the SMRID. They also service the McGrath Irrigation District in Raymond. When this project was envisioned, and I don't even think the districts had to express the concern, but it was recognized, well, if this project takes water out of that canal, there's going to be less water for us. So Mckennirey Reservoir that you see there, to operate BTAP isn't necessary. They could just take water out of the canal and irrigate. But they built that reservoir to say, if that reservoir is full, and if we hit a terrible dry 2 weeks in July, we can quit taking water out of the canal. All of that water can be for you people down east, and we've got enough water to keep BTAP going. So that reservoir was planned and agreed to that. They've never had to yet, have they, Martha? I don't think. Should know. But if we were to have a real dry period and all of the water had to be used down east, they've got enough water there for a week or two.
Okay, yeah, it's
you produce mainly hay. Why did you produce another crops like wheat or barley? And what's the average price about your wheat?
Yeah, good question. I think we should be diversifying, right? We have prior, but I think to really impact, the vision, the niche market is Timothy. But that said, during the rotation, canola, you've seen the canola fields? That's the preferred rotation before Timothy. So, yeah, I mean, you could rent it out to local farmers and grow, grains, but specialty crops is what you want to do in irrigation.
In the early years, there were plants there was some hybrid. The hybrid canola was being sent to Finland. We're growing Kentucky bluegrass seed and sending it to Kentucky. So we're flirting with different markets, but at the end of the day, this was when that settled out. It was most sustainable. So
There was 90 different crops looked at in the process of determining that Timothy was the best. The blood tribe has a unique advantage of where their location is and the water that allows Timothy to prosper here and grow that they can actually get 2 cuts. And there was a determination that given that specialty crop, as Levi mentioned, it would drive a higher price, particularly with the in the international markets, particularly with the dedication of the water that provides a more surety of supply for the customers. And all of those elements went in to provide an advantage for the nation in pursuing Timothy hay versus other crops.
well, then I think, especially with the influence of Dell, it's water that's the commodity now. Especially what's happening in the States. With their crisis, California, Middle East is taking like 1 million acres out of irrigation. So the water is becoming more and more valuable, every year. So that's what gives us our advantage.
So Levi, how many acres outside of BTAP operations is producing grains? Do you have any idea to answer his question? Like we do produce it, just not here.
Boy, good question. I usually stay in my own lane.
No, there's 200,000 acres of
cultivated land throughout the whole tribe. Yeah. We're talking just specifically of the BTAP operation. But of course we have lots of land out there that is cultivated, where they grow some of the grains.
One big farm.
Yeah, one giant farm.
Actually, where we're sitting here, it shows up in the Guinness Book of World Records, I think back in the 50s. It's the largest single, I think it was 30,000 acres. And, we're sitting on it was, but that's when it was leased. That's when we took everything back. That's when we had a real drain, but now we've, taken control back, so.
So Chair, I want to be respectful of your itinerary.
Yeah.
We were scheduled to be at the forage plant at what time? 1:30.
So Justin, let's head over, and Justin's going to take over for the board.
Hey, I will leave you here.
Okay.
All right. Nice meeting you, folks.
Thank you, Levi. And Scott.
So we're going to try to go through this fairly quickly in the sense of it is a major operation. Having said that, they've shut down for a period. It is a 24/7 operation at this point. Joining me is Norm, the general manager of Kainai Forage, Mike, the VP of operations for Indigena, production supervisor, and has been with Kainai Forage for just over 5 or 6 years and has a tremendous story. So, as much as you might like to hear me talk, you did hear me talk for that 2 minutes. So, in other words, I'm going to hand this over to the actual team
what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into what is the new plant. You heard it referenced. This is obviously an active site, so if you look behind you, one of those will kill you. All four will definitely kill you. I think we've got PPE to put on. Not everybody's gonna have it, but stick together. We're gonna follow the path of the hay from the time it comes into the building, through processing, and out, and the team will explain it to you. We are then gonna go see one of these massive sheds. We'll not make you run all the way over there. There's one right behind us. These are what's been the plant and the sheds have been part of the expansion that has empowered the business to become the success it is. But without further ado, I'll actually turn it over to the people who actually run this thing.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm Mike. I will hand a lot of this over to Keith. Like Justin said, he runs the plant every day. But we'll go inside. We'll get you as many vests as we can. The plant, like Justin said, has been shut down. So we can walk through safely, but just try to stay together as a group. I'll sort of be behind, so any stragglers, I can push you on through. Keith will start you where the hay comes into the plant and then guide you through the different steps of the process all the way to the finished product where it goes out over there. So if you'd like, let's start heading on in. We'll get you the vests on and we'll go from there. So that's why
wait till everyone comes in a little closer. Don't want to yell too much. So my name is Keith. I have been with the company Kainai Forage for just over 5 years now. A little bit about myself. I started, like most production, when we start a job here, sweeping the floors. And then I worked myself up to running a loader, to being a foreman, to working in the office with export admin, and now my current position, which is production supervising for both plants that we have here. So this is where it all starts for us. This is the product that's brought in, which is these are what we call 3x4s, raw bales that are brought in. And each one of these pivots is all on a PI, which the guys follow, which is a pressing order, what they'll be pressing on the machine here. Loaders will load the bales. This is what we call our load box here. And while they're loading them, they're also checking quality control. So taking a piece off and looking, making sure that the product is good to be pressed. It goes down the line. You guys want to follow? So that's our load box. This is the conveyor. This comes down the line. This is where all the magic happens right here. All the pressing. Just like I said, when they load the bales, the controls here control the conveyor belt, brings it over, you set it into this squeeze load here, and it pushes it into the slicer, this part up here. There's a big plunge on the other side that pushes the bale, or the bale, and it slices it into 3 slabs, straight across, 3 slabs on each one. Each one is loaded into our our press, our feed cable, and then sent over to the press right here, which is our big part of the machine here. This is where it gets compressed. And it's pressed into which we call a side load. So we have a load table here. You see the orange load plate there? Certain amount of, we have a weight set for each log, which we'll get to. But once it reaches its weight, we push it into the press. We have a side load here that pushes it over, and then this part right here is what we call our main press. This part. It presses the whole product into a log. We call it a log, yeah, the same way. And we have strappers here. 4 strappers that will strap all at the same time. You guys hear me? So just like I said earlier, the press will press the logs we have. They come out onto our table here after being strapped, fed down the line. This is our half cut station here. There's three blades in here that cut the logs into 4 half cuts. 1 log equals 4 half cuts placed here. Comes down our load tip, feeds it down to the clear tip, into the load stack, and those will, it builds our blocks, which you see in the load rack there. That's what this part of the machine does. Makes the blocks, pushes it in, raises it up, and it wraps it. Everything runs in sync together. Like the whole machine will run all together in sync, and that's what we come out with is the wrap product here. Tags will be placed on there, identifying the product, what kind of is first or second one. Bravo 23 will be for the product is here. So the guys with the dock drivers will take the sticker, place it on there. It's usually when they have 4. So 4 blocks equals 1 face. We have another 2 set of blocks here. The driver will grab them and we'll go into the back here. This is where we store our finished product. Product that is ready to be shipped out either the day of or the next day or the following week, whatever the dates fall on. This is our stored inventory of all our pressed product. When the guys press the product, it's usually, it could vary from like 1 can to 5 can bookings. And each container, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 rows, 8 hives is 1 container. That's the product that will go inside the cans you see over here. So let's walk this way. We'll go down to the dock station. One of these blocks weighs about 690 to 710 kg. So remember we discussed the logs? Yeah. So 1 whole row, 4 half cuts is 1 log. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 logs in there, and it equals 24 half cuts, which slices the log.
How much does it weigh again?
690 to 710 kg.
How do you make sure it's dry? Because you have to transport it.
At the beginning of the load box, we have what we call a floor driver. And this floor driver has a probe. So every bale that he's loading, he's inspecting the product, and he's also probing and checking to make sure that the moisture is where it's supposed to be. So there's always somebody checking. If something's missed, we'll catch it down the line. There's just somebody watching every part of the machine as it's operating. Okay, what was your question? Moisture? Yeah, so that's how our first line is just, we do the probing.
The hay arrives dry from the field, right? It dries naturally on the field, or do you dry
Yeah.
in big pails just before they enter the warehouse?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, when it's brought in, like I'll have our quality guy explain that a little more thoroughly, because they want to know about the moistures and when it's brought in.
Oh yeah, well, before harvest, we have our field scouts go out and assess it in the field. And when it's brought here, we bring it in on semis, bring it through the scale in the front, and we probe what we can reach. Anything over 12% gets rejected. Yeah. Then we bring the hay to the sheds and it cures a little bit, and then
We'll get to that when we go to the sheds. He'll explain that more thoroughly. But like a probe is basically, it checks the moisture inside the bale. We can only visually see it from the outside. If we see anything like prohibited species, mold, or whatever the reason why we need to reject it, and probing and getting an accurate reading of the moisture inside the bale, because sometimes we don't see it until it's sliced, when it's cut into 3 pieces, and then we'll find mold or something. So it's always, the guys are always probing it, making sure that the moisture is below what it's supposed to be before we press it.
and the guy's loading it on a table in the other room, cook it 90 degrees, flip it over, visually inspect for any weeds, rocks, or dirt, and then move forward again. So we go several times.
Sometimes they'll smell it and they'll taste it just to make sure. No. But yeah, that's basically the operation from start in the load box when we bring the product in. It gets pressed, wrapped, and brought out to our staging area, which is here. And this is where it goes into the containers. Our export team are the one that takes care of the trucking schedules, the PIs. So this is more their field, but because I've been here for a while, I've had the opportunity to work with the export team for over a year. So this is what it looks like when we load it in the containers. The doors are closed, it's scaled, it's sealed, and truck drivers ship it up to what we call CNC railroad company, and then it's off to its destination.
Which can be anywhere in the world? Or,
Yeah, could be
South Korea.
Japan, Korea, European countries, Europe, pretty sure the Middle East, China, and Scotland. So we pretty much ship all over the world.
Is there any approximate analysis, lab analysis done at any stage? In other words, to get the protein or the fibre content of the hay?
Yeah,
Do any of your customers look for that?
During first cut harvest and second cut, we probe the bales for moisture. Once all the bales have been brought to the shed, we do, we core it for sampling. Each pivot is sampled and sent away for analysis. Yeah, and then we have, I could show you our can over here that has each pivot, sample of each pivot, what it looks like, and yeah. So it is, that's all done before we even ship it out.
When do you expect your first cut this year to start coming off?
That's a tricky one. Everyone's been asking us that. It's
In a typical year?
yeah. Well, the last couple of years we've done. I always use our annual celebration as an example. One year we're done before the celebration started, which is
Sundance?
No, the Indian Days. Yeah. And then the next year we started when it was done. So it all varies, but right now it's really hot and the Timothy's growing a lot with the irrigation and it's so hot out.
So what time of year are Indian Days?
In July, second weekend in July. So roughly July is when our first cut harvest is.
So when's the second?
That's more towards the end of, I'd say August. September, yeah. September, August, around that area. And yeah, it's pretty busy here, and a lot of traffic, a lot of moving vehicles, heavy equipment, and a lot of people.
And the fertilizer regime for the land. Do you use, obviously you use chemical fertilizer, do you?
Yes.
Phosphorus, nitrogen,
Our
potassium.
farm manager, we're just all ready for it. We was hoping we wouldn't ask that. Yeah, he wanted, come on, Ryan. He wanted to know, this is our farm manager.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
He wanted to know about the fertilizer and that.
Oh, so, yeah, we usually, a lot of the times the farmers are doing fall seeding. So we had a few crops that were seeded this past fall, I believe. We had 5, and then they usually apply their fertilizer early May, typically. And then so forth as the season kind of goes through, then we apply our herbicide and whatnot, and go from there. So, yeah. What's that?
How many kills per hectare? You don't know?
I'm not quite sure on that, but so we do have a total of 143 pivots out here, and 128 of them are Timothy, and the rest are all cereal. So I wouldn't know the exact number offhand, but yeah, that's usually the farmer's responsibility.
And so is the rotation determined by the individual farmer, or does BTAP dictate the rotation to the farmers?
A little bit of both. So with the stands, like typically you want to go from 7 to 10. You don't really want to go past 10 for Timothy, but
cuts?
Years.
Really?
Yeah, like when you first seed it, you're gonna have that competition for the weeds, and then once it starts establishing more, then you're gonna get those really good cuts of Timothy throughout the years. And what they have to take into account with the fields out there is they want to be able to reach their goals of 100 metric tons, 100,000. But at the same time, we have to think about sustainability of the fields and everything like that with the soil, and making sure we're conserving the soil for future use for a long time. So typically, you don't want to go past anywhere 8 to 10 years in the stand, and that's when you'll rotate the field out for a year or two and then go from there.
I had no idea it was that long.
Yeah.
I thought it was way shorter. 3, 4.
So like our previous chief said before, if we take care of the land will take care of us, you know. So what he was saying about the rotations, it's all, you know, it has to happen in order for us to continue with Kainai Forage moving forward in the future, right? For future people, future workers as well, and customers, just to make sure that the boys are keeping up with the rotations and taking care of the land, so it takes care of us.
How many ton you harvest for 1 hectare?
What was that?
How many ton?
On a day? Or a hectare?
What's the yield per hectare?
We have a goal, some of the pivots, minimal is 3.5 metric ton per acre, and we'd like to see 5+.
Per cut or per
For
year?
one cut?
Per year.
Per year.
Per year.
For 1 cut?
So the 2 cuts.
For 2
Per
cuts?
year.
Two cuts, so 5 is a high level. Per acre. I couldn't tell you because I've done everything in acres. I can't remember the conversion. I gotta get my calculator out. Does it take one? Thank you. I can't remember.
No, I had to do my cat. What do you think of all the greenhouse gas emissions? I can go from
Ronnie, there was a question around percentage around grades, like percentage of hay that comes in that gets aligned to, or assigned to each grade. Do you have the answer on that roughly?
Well, we don't normally. Our highest grade is horse premium, and tends to be. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's a lot harder, like you said, without proper crop rotation to stay consistent at the horse premium. It goes horse premium, dairy premium, low premium, 1A, and low number 1. So we got. Yeah.
We probably continue on to see one of the storage facilities and explain the storage facility we're about to go to. Hopefully it's not raining, but it's about it holds 10,000 metric tons of hay. It's larger than a American football field, and it's all sealed in. So if we want to head that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We'll go the other way. We'll go the other way around. They developed the project. There was 3 groups, the upper age designing. welcome to Shed 8.
Thank you.
My brother here, Dean, will do the explaining for you.
Hello everybody, we're in Shed 8. My name is Dean Shade. I've worked with the Kainai Forage for 2 years. Previous to that, I was with TC Energy for 15 years as a senior valve buyer. But just a little bit about the shed here. Shed 10 can hold roughly 10,000 metric tons. We have 26 bays. Each bay can hold 600 plus bales, about 400 tons. As you can see, this shed is quite depleted as we prepare for harvest 2025, which includes reorganizing and consolidating our crop to make room for new stock. So we have 5 farmers and we just designate shed space to them prior to harvest. It also just allows to help with safety and not congesting certain areas and having 4 farmers coming through one door. So just as a safety prevention and spread amounts. What I also do, aside from the inventory, is also managing the ERP system, which allows our sales team to know the exact quantities that we have for upcoming orders. That's all I have. Anybody else? Questions?
So what was ERP?
Enterprise Resource Planning System.
Like an inventory system?
Yeah. Yeah. We use Shipper Excel here.
Okay. How many, I guess, years of storage would you have, or are you just still working off of last year?
2024. We have a little bit of first cut left in here. But we still have 20% cut, but as far as anything from 2023, it's
What's the typical duration between when the swart is mowed to the baling, and is it titted out?
I think that's a quality man question. Where is he?
How long generally between when the swart or the grass is mowed to when you actually bale it? Generally, on average, how many days?
Oh, 5 to 7 days after they cut.
And then is it titted out?
Yeah, it's cut and then it's cut into little rows,
Yeah.
and then because we have the big balers,
Yes.
it's raked into one big roll.
And are the little rows spread out, titted, or are they all just
They're
consolidated?
rolled into little rolls, and then they're raked before actual baling, just to have it drying process. And, you know, if we have the little rows, you can drive it around whenever to accumulate more products to produce.
They don't normally tether a large area, except for when it's been rained upon.
Yeah.
And they'll rake it, roll it, tether it, etc. And like Ronnie said, it's 5 to 7 days on the first cut. Second cut can be longer because it's so much colder. It can be 10 days to 2 weeks sometimes for it to cure before they can bale it.
Only really hot here, so the product dries a lot quicker. Second cut, we have a team, our field scouts, we go out there and we actually probe it out there, we bring it in and use the cost tester to get it. And we give the farmers a heads up when they can bear it, just to prevent any more issues.
What do you do with the chaff bales or the off quality?
The chaff bales are sold to other people who use it for food. So nothing's going to us.
And the machinery then, is that owned by the individual farmers, or is there some kind of, maybe contractors, or who actually does the different machinery passes input?
Well, we deal with 5 farmers, and their machinery is up to them.
Up to them,
Yeah,
okay.
they work close together with it.
So what's your biggest challenge? Is it weather, market, the diseases, wild animal? What are you most worried about?
We're most worried about the weather, the drought, and but we're irrigated here, so there's not really too much to it. The main thing that I'm concerned about is the weeds. Right? The crop gets longer and more weeds.
It's basically when our retrieving department of the crews, which are in the plant, that come out and bring the bales in. not only do they have to check the quality control, but they also have to, I guess, meteorologists, they gotta keep an eye on the weather. We all have a phone that has a radar that will show precipitation and weather's coming, whether it's snow or rain. And I always advise our retrievers to keep an eye on it, especially if you know there's stuff like precipitation building up around us. This area, because it's so vast and wide, it's called scattered showers. So it's like, as you see over there, there's like, it's probably raining, you know, but here it's clear. So typically the storms I've noticed, they kind of go around. If they miss us, they'll go around and then it'll come back through, which happened to us last night while we were able to bring certain product in because weather was just, it was too much rain. So a lot of it is our retrieving department that inspect the bales, keep an eye on the weather, whatever it is.
So you actually stop production if it's raining heavy?
Not necessarily production, just bringing the bales to the plant. Because as you can see, it's quite a distance from shed 8, 9, 10, 6, and 7 to bring bales in. Especially if the downpour hits. Like in this part of, in this area, there's a saying that wait 15 minutes and the weather will change. Well, it's sunny right now, but earlier we just had a wicked rainstorm go through, and now the sun's out, so it's basically just keeping an eye on the weather and making sure that we're not caught in a rainstorm, bringing the trailer in or hauling bales in. And if that does happen, what the guys will do is they'll bring the trailers right into the shed and park it here until the weather clears up. And if it doesn't clear up, then we have other things we can do, such as tarping the whole trailer and backing it into the plant and downloading it in there. So there are things that we do to prevent moisture from getting on the bales. But for the most part, it's mainly just waiting for the weather to clear. Like I said, 15 minutes could be, you know, monsoon season, and then 15 minutes later, it's, you know, mid-July in Arizona here, right? So, but yeah, and this is where like the trucks will come into the sheds when we do our first cut harvest. This will be all empty, clean. All the plastic, as you can see on here, will be all replaced. All around the whole shed will be all clean plastic. Drivers come in, we have 2 retrievers per shed to download trucks, and each farmer has roughly 3 to 6 trucks, continuously bringing bales in. So the more you hustle, the quicker you get it done, but if you wait, the trucks just line up, and again, weather plays a factor because we can't have these trucks sitting out there with the weather coming. So it's always, it's pretty intense when our first cut happens here. Yeah.
Definitely have emergency plans if it's raining outside and you have trucks on the road and get them into the sheds and get it sheltered, and once it stops, we get back out there to scale it in and get into the sheds.
Our sheds are so big, we can fit 4 or more semis in there, totally loaded with hay.
Our export, is there a 0% weed tolerance policy, or does it kind of vary by weed?
So for our export part, we have what we call cat hay, which is our safe hay. And that's stuff that Ronnie, which is our quality control, makes sure that the product is clean prior to us bringing it into the shed or to the plant and pressing it. It's already inspected, it's already looked at and made sure that it's clear and clean. But doesn't mean that we're always gonna, you know.
Yeah.
So our second line of defense is the retrieving, the load blocks drivers, putting the bales into the load blocks. He's also inspecting it. So like I said earlier, there's always somebody checking there's a backup to the backup to the backup. So basically somebody's checking everything to make sure before it leaves on the trailer and up to CP or CN rail. Yeah. So we're constantly keeping an eye out for, you know, anything that we could reject, moisture, anything that's not, you know,
Go ahead.
Just an idea how much tons are going into this shed here? How much tons?
This
If
one
it's
specifically is 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah.
And how many sheds do you have?
We have 8 enclosed sheds, 2 open sheds, and then we have 4 hoop sheds over there. The hoop sheds are we typically use for our rejected bales, whether it's high moisture, mold, invasive weeds. We'll bring them over there so that they're kind of out of the way and not, mixing with everything else.
What would fit in the value for 10,000 tons? The value. Yeah.
Oh,
Just a rough estimation, just to get an idea.
It's a lot. I don't know that.
Are you not afraid for fire?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking in the case of fire.
Fire problems? Or is there a policy?
No, well, that's why we try to keep our moisture down. We don't let anything in here that's high in moisture, just because of spontaneous combustion.
Or driving?
Yeah, no, we've got fire extinguishers on every other pillar here.
Do you reside, subside from government by
What's that?
subside?
Subsidies.
Oh, subsidies.
From government?
That would have to be, no, yeah. Oh, he wants to know if we get subsidies from the government.
Every farmer in Europe reside.
Oh, they're lucky.
And in Canada, no?
So, the question also, so the provincial and federal governments have partnered in certain aspects of the build out of the overall facility, largely through what would be here would be grants. Those are very small compared to the overall investment that you heard in the video of about 40. The overall investment of private capital has been about $40 million. The governments have contributed, trying to do some quick math, about maybe 5 to 7% of that total, in addition to that.
So it's predominantly perennial, Timothy grass. Have there been other species of grass being grown, or is that most suitable, or is that what your customers want? In other words, perennial ryegrass or other fast-growing species.
We did do alfalfa hay back, that was a couple of years back, but about 2 years ago, yeah. So alfalfa, that's pretty much the one, right? Alfalfa. Straight Timothy. I think we have also, what is that, alfalfa seeds? So those are the main three ones.
The alfalfa doesn't do very well with our climate, unfortunately. The first cut will get rained upon. It's hard to get it off in time. Then the third cut is in October. We have snow in October, so you only really get a good second cut on the alfalfa. So we've gone predominantly to Timothy. On the dryland corners, there are some things like the tall fescue, etc. that are growing, but it's 98% Timothy.
That's what we're in the business for, Timothy.
I think based on the conversation with the organizers, if there's not any more pertinent questions and the fact that you all pulled the bus around, I think that's the cue that they probably need you to get back on the bus. So I'll let Chief Travis say a couple words in closing. Kainai Forage has provided just a small token of our appreciation on the bus so that you can, to remember us by. But Chief Travis.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, thank you for your interest in our project here. We're quite proud of it. In any venture, there's up and down, but we're always planning, and always, like I said at the boardroom, we don't look back. We learn from that, but we just keep pressing forward. And right now, the majority of the production is predominantly from our tribal members.
Of course, we have to always have our technicians and our specialists involved in the whole project at the end of the day, because we all want to work together to produce a good quality product that we can ship anywhere in the world. And I think we've accomplished that. So we're only going to grow. And with you folks here, you're going to spread the good word, right? So once again, you know, we're proud of the operation, and we got plans, you know, moving forward on how we can do better and get more people employed from the tribe here directly, not only in the production area, but also in the management and sales end of it also. So, yeah, so I don't know, nothing, everything to add?
I just want to thank you all for coming, and you know, when we bring you here, it brings us pride too, to show you all of our boys and everybody who's putting in work here. And you know, just as Chief stated, you know, we don't want everybody just working in the lower level positions. We want our people to be managers, and we want them to be successful in the work that they do. So, you know, it's when you look at our operation here, you'd think that it was the people around us that supported us, but it's not. It's the world. You know, we knew that these markets around us weren't gonna treat us the same way they do others. So we had to go out in the world and seek out those type of buyers to show them what kind of product we had and what kind of ability we have to produce something like this. So it brings me a lot of pride to be here and to show you guys what we got going on here. You know, and who knows what the future holds for us. You know, we're always open to new business and new opportunities for our members to succeed. So we're happy to see you guys, and you know, remember us in the future when you might have an opportunity come up. Blood Tribe's ready to do business.
And of course, we want to thank for the investment and partnering with the tribe, and our former chief, my mentor, Mckennirey, Roy Fox. Back in 2016 was kind of the changing point for this whole operation, where we took over and we worked with the BTAP, where you just came from. So they're actually two separate entities that are working together, but they're both tribal owned. And then we just have partners that are helping us along the way too. So that's about all I have.
And I did hear some really great comments about the qualities and experts here admiring it, so we will spread the good news.
Yes, good.
Thank you.
All righty, well, safe travels. Get him up the city.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.